YouTube. Just kind of shooting in the dark, seeing how it works. I'm on my lunch break, and yeah, we'll see how it turns out. So there's a little bit of news in the King James space. Gary Rovarino, G. John Rov, the guy that wrote Concealed from Christians for the Glory of God, and another book that he came out with, I think, early this year, called, man, it's hard to even figure out what the title is. It's called Called of God to Translate the King James Bible 1611. The Word of the Lord is full of Jameisty, or something like this. It's a weird title. So he made that and Concealed from Christians for the Glory of God. And he's been making some really interesting claims recently, which a pastor, Brian Ross, has been responding to. He's from, Brian is from Grand Rapids, Michigan. He's a pastor out there. And Gary has his King James Bible Museum down in Phoenix, Arizona. And recently he's been making some pretty absurd claims. He's pretty much been claiming that he's been sent by God to prove the King James Bible is, the finished Bible, as he calls it. He claims this based on the fact that the King James dedication to King James, it starts with the word great, and the word great starts with the first two letters GR, and that's supposed to stand for Gary Rovarino. All right, sorry about that. Okay, looks like we're back online. So what happened is Brian Ross has been making these videos. He's made 3 of them so far. The first one is, I think he went public with it on Monday. I believe they're still in the process of recording some of the other ones. They record and then publish. He's doing it with another guy that he knows named Nathan, I believe. And they've gotten in this third part up to the really concerning stuff, where he is just like, if you don't see these patterns, your eternity is at stake, and just all this other stuff. And it's just like, what is going on? And then on top of that, saying that he's a prophet that was prophesied of by the King James translators, and just all this other really weird stuff. And I would highly recommend you guys check out those videos. They're by Brian Ross. If you go to, I believe it's Grace Life Bible Church, it's on YouTube. You guys can check it out. I've been sharing them also to my Facebook, social media, my Facebook timeline. That's the word. And yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So interestingly enough, Gail Riplinger has been offering the first book by G. John Rov, for some time now. I think pretty much since it came out, sort of. And promoted it and been like, oh, this is a great book and stuff like this. She used to list it under the people that, oh, you can trust these people. These are people that you can learn and grow from, other great KJV authors, capital A, I'm not sure why. But since this afternoon, when Brian Ross came out with his latest video that expresses the concerns about, like, this guy, G. John Rov, has just gone off the handle, she's actually taken it down from her website. I don't know if it's coming back. I don't know if the page is just being maintained, so it's come down and then it's going to go right back up. I don't have any further information on that, but I do know that if you go to avpublications.com right now and you look for Concealed from Christians, it doesn't come up. If you look through her library list that she recommends, it doesn't come up. And that's okay by me. There's no reason that I want to see Gail promoting this guy's work. Nobody, in my opinion, should be promoting this guy's work. his conclusions are just so ridiculous, and not his conclusions. His conclusions are ridiculous. His claims about himself are ridiculous. His just really weird allegorical interpretation of the scripture is ridiculous. There's just basically the whole setup for G. John Rov is ridiculous. And his King James Bible Museum, by the way, I think is ridiculous. Not that they don't have some interesting artifacts there. I am sure. I'm sure they've got some very interesting stuff. He's got like this rich friend or whatever that he set it up with and everything. And Gary, as far as I know, he's doing all the design and everything, and he's a pretty good designer. But the thing is that he started this museum. He started it because his initials, and he claims the initials of the person that he started it with, appear somewhere in the King James dedicatory or preface or someplace. I forget. It's been a long time since I watched this video. But he said that it was a sign, it was a miracle from God that, it showed that he needed to set up this museum with this guy. That's a problem, because you take his methods and you're going to go find your own initials in the 1611 preface or dedicatory or what have you, and you're going to start trying to tell your own fortune. You're going to become your own King James only fortune teller. This is mysticism. This is wrong. You're going to do that if you take his methods and you think that they're legit. How do I know? Because I've already tried. And I found my initials, and guess where they are? They're right in the beginning of it, where it's dedicated to King James. My initials are Joseph Armstrong, and so, not only that, but I guess I'm a more powerful prophet, apparently, than even Gary Rovarino, which I don't see why he chose his name, because Gail Riplinger is GR as well. But apparently, I'm supposed to be a more powerful prophet than him, because my initials appear first in the word James, and they appear on the cover of every King James Bible in the entire world, because it's J.A. My goodness. I mean, and then what do you want to know? Oh, did I marry the right person? Oh, am I attending the right church? Do I have the right job? All this other stuff. And then you're going to go looking for patterns in the King James Bible and stuff like this. Which, that's what you do, and looking at the gematria of how words add up and stuff like this, that's what you do when you're sucked into a mystical cult. When you're like, oh, I wonder what my name adds up to. And mine was pretty interesting. I ran the numbers on myself some time ago. And some of the things that popped up, I was just like, yeah, I mean, but, this could also be general and stuff like this. And I'm just like, okay. But I found it particularly interesting. I'm sorely tempted to look up G. John Rov and Gary Rovarino, both of his aliases or whatever. His pen name is G. John Rov. I am sorely tempted to check out his, because I've also done some looking into Tyler Doka's claims. I mentioned him earlier in this stream. Tyler Doka thinks that he's Jesus, and that the King James, the entire Bible is just a lie. It is a super advanced allegory that is pointing everything to him. He proves this by doing things such as measuring the height of his face and stuff like this. So just like, just weird stuff. And I looked up his number, his gematria thing, and if I remember correctly, if you look it up in simple English gematria, I believe was what I looked it up. And by the way, this is no way to tell if somebody's the Antichrist or whatever. But what I am saying is that it's fascinating. I looked it up in simple English gematria and a few other gematria methods, and those ones didn't really yield particularly fascinating results. But his name, Tyler Doka's name, adds up to 666 in simple English gematria. If I'm not mistaken, that was the system, like I said. But I was just like, it adds up to 666, how? So with the stuff with Gary Rovarino that's come out more in your face in his book, that's just like outright nonsense. It's kind of gotten my wheels turning, my, conspiratorial nut wheels turning. And with his whole parallelism thing and just weird nonsense and stuff, and I should really end this shortly because I've got to eat my food. Am I really going out on a limb if I say that I'm seeing the cast of Revelation kind of popping up here? Tyler Doka, King James only. G. John Robb, King James only. Gail Riplinger, King James only. Three main players in Revelation. You've got the Antichrist, who claims to be Christ and God and stuff, and that's Tyler Doka. He claims to be God as well. If I'm not mistaken, yes. And you can go to New Jerusalem Online, where that's all of his nonsense. G. John Robb claiming to be a prophet. Hello. Punk that. Sorry if you're joining late. This is a really weird spot to be tuning in. But with all of Gary's weird allegorical nonsense, this would kind of fit, and I would love to hear his opinion on it. Gary's claims about being a prophet and him not being, and claiming that these weird codes and patterns and gematria and stuff he's finding in the King James Bible is proof of it, and a sign and a wonder and a miracle that he's been gifted with to show the world. I wonder if he wouldn't make if there was a casting for the cast of the King James only tribulation, apocalypse, whatever, he would probably cast pretty well as the false prophet. And like I've said, everything that I have looked into in New Age Bible versions by Gail Riplinger, every single little bit of it has turned out to be false or half true, and just really not a good book. But guess what it has on the cover? You already know what it has on the cover. There's this lady in Revelation that lies a lot and has to take a lot of responsibility for some things that she said, apparently. And maybe has been divorced a few times, maybe. Just probably gonna leave it there. But yeah, she may cast as Mystery Babylon. If it now here, just let me, before you go, oh, and stuff like this, and it's just like, calm down. Like I said, it's just a conspiracy theory. But it is interesting, the parallels there, and a lot of people have actually said that Satan in every generation has had somebody ready to become the Antichrist, basically, is the idea. Napoleon was one of the people that they claimed was ready to be the Antichrist, and Hitler was another guy that they claimed was ready to be the Antichrist. Kissinger, more recently, has also been somebody that was supposed to have been stationed and ready to become the Antichrist if such a need arose. And of course, they would have had other people along with that as well. A lot of people that have been involved with the Illuminati have actually said that they've tried to bring about the events of Revelation in every generation. And so far, it hasn't worked out so well. I'm pretty sure all of that is in God's timing, so it's not like there's really a lot that they can do. Their timelines also apparently are going haywire on them, and they don't know what to do, and I think it's personally God's taking a hold of all the manipulation they're trying to do, and just being like, sorry, you're stuck, and you can't get away from how the Bible's going to play out. So, it's fascinating, but just thinking out loud, oh man. So the takeaway from this stream, if you want to take something away, Gail has been promoting a book by a guy that you can't trust, apparently, because she has removed his book from circulation, or from her website, She had put it on sale when Brian Ross first started criticizing it. She put it on a sale. But of course, you know how sales on her website run. They're just basically a decreased price. There's no real time limit. It's not a real sale. And now she has removed it, apparently, because she has come in contact with more information about Gijon Rov and his claims, and just, no, she's not going to stand behind him anymore. That's my assumption, especially since it was taken down today, which is the day when Brian Ross actually addressed some of the more concerning issues with Gijon Rov. And also, if you're supporting his museum, I'm not going to say don't support his museum. If you're supporting his YouTube channel, I'm not going to say that to take away your support from his YouTube channel, unsubscribe from him. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying to throw his book out and burn it. I'm not saying that either. What I am saying is that you might be a little bit more careful in the future about who you trust. Just because they have the King James label on them, just because they sing the King James only songs and all this stuff, doesn't mean that you can let your guard down. It doesn't mean that you can just trust whoever is talking. I personally have worn the King James label for almost over a decade at this point, and I'm really starting to back away from it because I'm finding out that the people that were teaching me a lot of these things, especially Gail Riplinger, for the last 31 years she's been going, I've been having to back off from supporting her a lot because every single... if she's supposed to be an architect, you'd think that her building of her book would be sound. The one where she entered the stage with 700 pages, claiming that the New Age had, done all of this stuff. You notice all the rhyming in there. And I've poked the walls of this building multiple times. And every single time I've poked it, my finger's gone right through. And it's been it's an incredibly soggy book. Its documentation is very, very wanting, especially in the chapter The Final Bible, especially there. And we'll be getting into all of that in the future. I've also have a few emails that I need to show as well, showing that that Bryn was informed that, the email that I sent to Bryn and Gail talking about their admin status in the Friends of Gail Riplinger group, and the email that, there's another email from Gail as well that I need to address on YouTube. I forget which one it was. But yeah, even Gail has found out now, apparently it appears that since she's removed Gary's book, she has some trust things that she has to try to figure out too. One of my biggest regrets in this whole thing is that I trusted Gail Riplinger, and I don't know, but there goes my time for lunch. I'll just eat this quick and go back. So I should probably finish this up. I can take a few more minutes, it's fine. So Gail apparently has to work through her trust issues as well. And I would also say that Kent Hovind, who has trusted Gail, needs to figure out a little bit more about what he is promoting. So, just going to say that as well. Alright, so I'm going to look at a few of your guys' comments. Thank you guys for tuning in. I saw at least one of you guys have been here the whole time. This is one of my shorter videos, which is kind of weird. How you doing, man? Hey, Toast. It sounds to me that Gary is trying to set himself up as a prophet. This is cult behavior, in my opinion. I agree. And he's not trying... It's not... Here's what I'm going to say to you. Solidus. It sounds to me that Gary is trying to set himself up as a prophet. Don't go with just what I said. You can watch the video by Brian Ross where he talks about these things. You can watch the videos on Gijon Rov's channel and get more and more concerned by the second. You can go to Lulu and order, I would recommend, for my purposes, an ebook is more efficient for me. So if you buy the ebook, You can actually look up these quotations yourself. You can read it yourself. You can have Google Books or Google and whatever it is read it to you. He is literally claiming to be a prophet sent from God. And he bases it on actually several things in the King James front material. So it's not something that's like, oh, in my opinion, he's trying to set himself up as a cult leader. Or not as a cult leader. He's trying to set himself up as a prophet. That is a definite. So just to be clear about that. This is cult behavior. I personally think it's cult behavior. I agree with you on that one for sure. Maybe somebody else disagrees. If you disagree, leave a comment down there and we'll check it out. We'll discuss it. Stuff like this. But yeah, there's just no end to the nonsense that can come from this. And he is really taking some disciples too, because when he talks, there are two types of people. There is the evil modern version user, and then there's the good person who believes everything that he says and has accepted the miracles and patterns that he's showing. Those are the two types of people that he basically in the universe that he creates with his book. So you really can't be King James only and reject these signs and wonders. You can apparently, since your eternal destiny is at stake, whether or not you accept these signs, you apparently can't even merely be a Christian unless you accept what he is saying. So there are going to be people, in my opinion, this is my little prophecy, I suppose, that he's going to take people from King James onlyism. People are going to be his supporters, his little cult people or whatever. And he is going to have a bona fide cult. And I'm going to wait for the Kool-Aid Man to show up. Just saying. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know where things are going to go with Tyler Doka either. A lot of unreasonable people are following him as well, and it's scary. A lot of scary Gary. So Tyler, Gary, Gail, there's a lot of unreasonable and scary people that follow Gail. I don't see Gail's stuff as being weaponizable, if to coin a phrase, but I could see where Gary's teachings could become very dangerous and that those could be weaponized. Tyler Doka's stuff could also be weaponized very easily, because if he's claiming to be Jesus and there's people that believe him, it's just like, who knows what could happen from that. But anyways, these are some of my thoughts. I've got a little sandwich to eat. I gotta go back to work. I appreciate you guys tuning in. So yeah, thank you very much. And I think it was a pretty good, successful, off-the-cuff kind of midweek thing. I do still plan to go, I think it's going to be live. I'm not quite sure what we're going to be doing on Friday night, but Christmas plans allowing, I'm still planning to go live on Friday, and we'll drop more information about that upcoming stream soon. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you missed the first part of this video, go back and watch that. I highly recommend it. Stay safe, take care. Remember, the truth will set you free, but first, it's going to tick you off. And that's true. That's not my slogan. My slogan, keep reading your Bible like the devil's after it, because there truly is a Bible version conspiracy. And it may be closer than we think. Closer to home than we ever imagined. Have a good night. Now, how do I get out of here? I hope it saves this. I really hope it does. Let me hit the X up here in the corner and see what that does. And are you sure you want to stop streaming? Yes. I thought that it said there for a second, are you sure you want to stop screaming? And I'm just like, no, that sounds like a bad way to go. All right, so take care, guys. Have a good one.